Hello, Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here, and welcome to the channel. Let's have a discussion, shall we? Yes, hello everybody. Hoping you are all keeping well. Thank you for joining in. So, Discuss Livestream is where we get a topic to discuss and discuss it with a guest. Luckily for me, we have a topic to discuss and we have guests to discuss it with. But before I get onto the guests, let's take a look and say hello to those in the chat. So we've got Des T. He says, knock, knock. Who's there? We are. I'll get my coat. Yes, absolutely, Des. Well, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you joining in. Thank you very much. We have Georgie. Hello. How are you? Of course, I know how you are. I saw you about 5 minutes ago. Then we have Chris Miwa from Chasing 80s Toys. Good evening from the Netherlands. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us. We have Goji. Hello, sir. How are you? Bob Squad Assemble. Absolutely. Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. And that is it for the time being. Yes. Okay. So we have minimal numbers in the chat, but that's okay. No problem. Let's get our first guest on. Some like to call him Daddy. He likes to be the best Bob he can be. But me personally, I think he's the greatest Bob, or arguably the greatest Bob ever made. It's Bob Hansen. Hello, Bob. How are you?
Oh, sweet mother of pearl, heavens to Betsy, Gadzooks, gee willikers, goodness gracious, what do you say? What do you know? 23 skidoo, jokers cracking wise, dames are flipping their lids. How can I match that intro? You just did all my stuff. I think you owe me £5 every time you do that.
Yeah, royalties. I owe you some royalties there, don't
That's ridiculous. Good to see you, Stu. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. How are you? It's been a while.
I'm still standing, you know how it is, saying stuff, doing things, rubbing elbows, greasing palms, movers, shakers, trendsetters, go-getters, gypsies, tramps, and thieves. What do you say? What do you know? How's tricks? How's the kids? Some weather we're having, Daddy. You know how it is. And I'm still standing. I'm good, buddy.
I do. Good, good. Right, let's just quickly say hello to Kieran Ball. Hello, Kieran Ball. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. We've got Gerard Kane. Good evening, sir. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. Right. What can I say about our next guest? It is PGM. Hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah, great intro there. Yeah.
Really good. All good?
Yeah, well, I haven't got a huge intro like Bob has. It'll take me 20 years to actually remind myself of those lines.
Well, to be fair, I did have an intro for you, but it was 2 hours long, so I thought that's the whole show. So I just left it as it was.
That's my bit. Yeah, that's my bit. Yeah.
I'm thinking everybody's material.
Wow,
hey,
wow. You're going to pay us royalties.
I know.
Myself. Yeah.
So we met briefly in the back room, didn't we? So Bob, this is Pete. Pete, this is Bob.
How you doing there, Pete? Sorry, wait for 8 seconds. I tagged in at the very last second, but good chat.
I thought it was 8 minutes. Honestly,
That's what she said. Right?
Yeah, just noise. Yeah. Right, okay, so gentlemen, the reason we've got you here today is because we're going to discuss all things stand-up comedy. Now, Bob, I know that you are a stand-up comedian and it's something that you do on a regular basis. So what I'd like to know is, you probably said it, you told us this before, but I've forgotten because I'm getting old and my memory's not as good as it used to be. So, run us through your experiences with stand-up, how you got started and stuff like that. And PGM is very new to the comedy scene. He's dipping his toes into stand-up comedy. So, and we'll hear a little bit about that in a second. But Bob, take us away, sir. What got you into stand-up comedy and why stand-up comedy?
Oh, goodness gracious. I don't even remember anymore. When I was 10, I don't want to go back too far. When I was 10, I loved Rodney Dangerfield. And I thought that I didn't know stand-up comedy was a thing that existed. I just thought this one guy does this one thing on TV. But I was always into my wrestling world. I was a pro wrestler, and I always liked stand-up comedy. But wrestling fell apart, or your body falls apart. And when I thought I was done with wrestling at one point, I started doing stand-up. Fast 18, 19 years in a couple of months. We'll put it that way.
Wow.
Out in San Diego, and then New York City for a long, long time, and San Diego once again. Once a month, I'm somewhere. I'm in Dallas, Texas, in next weekend. For example.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And is that the first time you've been in Dallas?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been to the airport several times. It's lovely. They have a great airport transit system within the own. It's easy to use, and I enjoy that thoroughly. But I want to get outside of the airport this time and tell jokes to the humans.
Oh, is that it? Oh,
No,
sorry. I thought
I
you
didn't
were
know
going to
whether.
carry on. Sorry, I was.
Not to the airport staff, Bob.
Yeah.
No, they got terrible senses of humor. The folks in the courts.
Yeah. My dad was an airport staff, and he had a terrible sense of humor.
I'm sure they were. I can't imagine it was very funny at all.
So why stand-up comedy then? Because I've said many times before, I think it's probably one of the hardest things to do, to stand up in front of people. I mean, because you got to feel quite vulnerable doing it, Bob.
I don't know, man. Like when I had my hernia surgery, I think his job was harder than the guy doing that. I don't think what I do is particularly. I'm not impressed. I'm used to it. Why stand up? Oh, geez, I ask myself every day. I think if you don't have a musical talent and you can't act and you still want attention, stand up is the way to go. It is nice, I guess, in a more esoteric sense, to have a blank slate, more or less, or a blank canvas to go up to, and you make this thing that didn't exist yet. Laughter is hard to make people do. Like TED Talks are one thing. You wear a headset and you tell them about a serious thing, and people have to respond. Or if you're I don't know if they still have slam poetry or whatever, but if you do your poem, or if you're in a cafe and you play the guitar and you sing about your emotions, or for because you think someone wants to hear that, people habitually have to clap at the end of every song, even if they hate a song. They just do. It's just a human response. Song, clap. Yeah. You play a little diddy, and that's something crying about an ex-girlfriend, because who cares? And then it was, you got to do that. Laughter, no, it's just you get a lot of this. The arms crossed for the audio listeners. I'm crossing my arms right now. That's broadcasting 101, folks. And people go, "Oh, make me laugh, funny man," or it's very subjective. They walk out and go, "I didn't laugh once," but if the other 99 people did, well, someone's wrong. It's like music. Yeah, if you go to I'm jumping the gun. But if you go to a comedy club, maybe research the comedian. You don't go to a concert and not ask what kind of music's playing.
This is true. This
Same
is true.
thing.
Let me just quickly catch up on the chat. Yeah. So we've got Goji saying, "At my age, I prefer sit-down comedy, easier on the knees." Let's see, he's wasted, isn't he? Wasted. We've got Martin in the house. Hello, Martin. How are you? Nice you to join us. Thank you very much. And we have G-Force. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice you to join us. Thank you very much. Has we got anybody else? Oh, Travels and More with Jason. Oh, hello. How are you? Nice you to join us. Thank you very much. And then everybody's saying hello to each other. Now, the thing is with comedy, especially stand-up comedy, I remember watching the likes of people like Eddie Murphy back in the day in the 80s, and a couple of the English ones like Jim Davison and Bernard Manning and stuff like that. My goodness me, comedy has changed a lot in those years. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can't say and stuff like that. And I mean, how do you go about avoiding offending people, Bob?
It's kind of a moot point with me, which is terrible for your conversation right now. Okay. I'm very PG-13ish anyway. I like the silliness and the corniness anyway. And lately I've been opening for my friend Zoltan Kazas for the last for the last year or so. And his audience is all clean, just because they know him from a platform called Dry Bar, which is run by some Mormons or whatever. He had a video go viral. It's about cats and dogs, et cetera, et cetera. So they expect that. But the nice thing about that audience is they hear a bad word or a dirty top, or they don't cry about it. They go to expecting pretty much a clean show, but if you if you go outside of the box a little bit, they're actually quite fine with it. And I think most people are. I think that's kind of what we forget. Most complaining on anything is usually done by one or two people, not most of them are adults. They've heard bad words before. They don't really. It's just that it gets tiring, I think, and I think we have similar mindsets, him and I, where it's just like, okay, it gets exhausting to just hear the F word every 3 letters, every 3 words. Yes, and we're not offended. We're just you're beating me over the head with it. Like, I don't need it. Tell your joke.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Hang on. But so Jason said, humor is a very difficult subject. Yes, it is. And G-Force has said, comedy is subjective. Everyone's sense of humor is different. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And Jason's put back, yes, just like artwork, G-Force. Yeah, it is. So PGM, you're dipping your toes into stand-up comedy. So you did your courses and stuff like that before Christmas. You did your 5-minute stand-up comedy sketch, and we've seen that, which I thought was pretty good. So well done to you there. Where are you going to take that now? How do you go forward with that?
Well, I just like to add to the little bit of the conversation that I got taught. The first lesson was that my teacher said that if you think you're funny, you're not, because the audience doesn't know if you're funny or not. So that's, and he's been doing comedy circuits in New York, right? And so he's taught women and men and of all ages, right, how to write jokes and stuff like that, and just have fun, because that's basically it, just to have fun. And I kind of want to take it as far as I can go with it, really. Make a little bit of mini career out of it. I mean, I've kind of had the cleaning jobs and looking for jobs and doing all that kind of stuff. I want something fun in my life. I'm 53 years old. I like making people laugh, and this was my chance to actually ask questions of a friend of mine who's a director, who's an actor, who's a comedian himself as well. And he put me on to Neil Thornton, who's my teacher, who taught me comedy, right, in the classes, right, and I jumped at the chance, right, and I am new to this, and I'm loving every minute of it. I've only had one session, and it was my graduation, right. So again, I reiterate my point. I love making people laugh, and I can do it now on stage.
No. Cool. Yeah. Right. So G4 says, like Bob said, audience is partially responsible for knowing the style of comedian they are seeing. Open mic nights are harder to get a target. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you do open mic nights, Bob? Or do you?
Not anymore. I've kind of stopped. I got a weekly bar show of my own in a chunk of San Diego. I do it's an offset of the Hollywood Comedy Store, the La Jolla Comedy Store. The famous Hollywood Comedy Store in America has a smaller one in San Diego, long story short. And so I go there a lot. And after this chat, I actually have to drive to a club 2 miles away from me to pick up a check that I've been fighting them for like a month for $100.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's what it is. So that'll teach me. But no, so I'm around. I have a bar show in somewhere just a few miles away tomorrow night, for example, on a Sunday. So I'm around the scene in the neighborhood and all that. I just did a weekend a couple of weeks ago, right before Christmas, downtown in San Diego. My buddy Zoltan was in San Diego instead of traveling somewhere. So we got to do the whole 5 shows, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday. 5 sold outs. They're not sold out because of me. I'm not taking credit for the sellout. Let's make that very clear. I'm doing 20 something before his hour, basically.
Yeah.
It's I'm trying not to do the mics, but funny you mention that. Right now, my friend Jesse, right about now, literally is wrapping up. I'm just looking at the time. He's wrapping up a comedy class that he teaches right now, and after 6 or 8 weeks, the goal is to get them to the showcase. And I will often. I hate the word headline here because it's silly, but I'll do like 15, 20 minutes at the end of the showcase because a lot of people are just going up for the first time. And, in this way, and new people doing their first set ever don't have to deal with like the check dropping and that kind of nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's a friend of mine. Again, it's 2 miles. It's 2 miles up the road. I just do it. It helps me. I work on stuff and blah, blah, blah. So, these first couple of years, Pete, I want to tell you this, and I'm sorry, I know you got chats. The first 2, 3, 4, 5 years is the most fun of stand-up that you will ever have. Great. You're in the fun zone. You just kicked off the fun zone. Enjoy the fun zone for a couple of years.
That's cool. No, I'll take that. Great. Yep. Yeah, I'll take that. We had an MC too who did 10 to 15 minutes introduction. Then he did the half-hour show before all of us went up individually and stuff like that. It's so and my little bit because I'm so short. He put the microphone stand down, so he got a laugh out of that. So,
Are you like a tall guy?
He was a tall guy. I'm a short guy, so he's just like 7 feet bloody tall, and I'm.
So did he leave it really high for you? Really high for him, just high for himself, or did he just purposely put it really short for you?
Yeah. So he just went like, okay, you can stop now. You can stop now.
That's one of the things when you're introducing someone is if you know they're like below average height or above average height as you're talking. If you do the righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Yeah.
So if I'm introducing somebody, I'm only 5'10", maybe 5'11". So I got a Chihuahua who's interfering. So I'm only 5'10". So yeah. So if I'm introducing someone who I know is 5 feet tall, as I'm talking, Michael, you're going to love this next person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not as obvious, and then they don't look silly when they come up, and then blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Little hosting tip for the future.
So Travels and More Jason said Norman Wisdom and that guy who played Frank Spencer, which was Michael Crawford, so funny but not stand up. No, they weren't, but they were. Because I was talking to you, wasn't I, the other week, PGM, and asking the difference between stand up comedy and actually doing comedy in like a TV series or a film or something like that. And there is a big difference.
Yeah, there is a big difference. I mean, the only closeness that really I can probably say would be ad-libbing, and that's what Eddie Murphy did, right, in Beverly Hills Cop, because he's a comedian, right? So he did stick to some script, but he threw that out because he was doing little bits of stand-up or jokes that actually fit the script. Same with Robin Williams when he did he stuck to the script mostly, but he chucked in quite a few funny ad libs or jokes, especially in Aladdin when he's voicing the genie, right? That was all his own work, right? He just riffed for ages and ages and ages. There's a video out where he just keeps on riffing, right? And they take that and they look at that kind of stuff and they say, that's good. All of his stuff was really good, but they couldn't put it all in. Right, and that was all Robin Williams. Right, it wasn't the script; it was all Robin Williams.
Yeah,
there is a difference. You have to stick to a structure and a script just to tell the story. Yes, but to be funny, I think stand-up comedian. I think you've got. I don't know. I've only done this once. Bob will probably tell me. You've got that freedom. To do a joke. Right, and I don't know. I think, from my opinion, I think it's different because you've got to keep it within the structure, but you can say a joke within a movie.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. I don't know. Probably not.
No, it does, because you got with the TV and movies and even just sketch comedy, etc. Even the improv folks, you've got dance partners, and that's because now your timing is to work with their timing, and that's a whole other. That's a whole other animal. Not really my area of expertise. And also you can't pivot. There's a commitment. It's like anytime there's the same way that anytime there's a stand-up comedian, Goji had a great question in the chat too. You were probably going to.
I've got a couple of questions. Yeah.
I figured as much. But anytime there's a comedian who plays stand-up comedian who plays a song or a funny song and a guitar or whatever, the thing is now you just made like a 2-minute commitment. You just killed yourself from pivoting off. And sometimes that's the other thing with sketches and dance partners up there too. You've made a commitment to this bit. Whereas when you're solo, you can pivot, you can bail on something, you can dance around, you can change your plan. That's all I'm saying.
So going back to questions, Chris Meewell's got a question. Question for the three comedians. Well, look, Chris, these are the comedians. I'm not a comedian. I'm just a piss taker. I just like ripping the piss out of people. And that's it. I wouldn't even call myself a comedian, but anyway, can you tell me something about where you get your inspiration for the material? So we'll start off with you, PGM. Where did you get your inspiration for your material for your stand-up that you did the other week?
My material is that I go from being coming from a small city in Nelson, right? So it's on the South Island. So I do a bit of a joke about that, where I come from, right? So that's the introduction. And then I have a joke about grey power, which is old people, and beautifying the streets, of course, and crocheted patches, being a gang, kind of grey power. That's what I kind of class it. And then I go from taking the piss out of myself with my career, I guess, or my extra fledgling career. And it's a lot of fun because, you've heard me go on about me being a hobbit. So I've made that into a joke, right? I made quite a few things into jokes that throughout my acting extra career that that Neil helped me out with by punchlines, and so it's I think I'll continue with that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So that's I guess that in that question, if you're asking, was it Chris? You asked me, Chris?
Yeah.
I think my inspirations of comedians, I'd go one further, is mainly British comedians for me. A lot of James Acaster I've been watching. A lot of Michael McIntyre.
Yeah.
Billy Connolly and Eddie Murphy is a good one for me as well. So on the cleaner side, yes, I think for me, drier side, or and Billy T. James, a New Zealand comedian for years and years.
Cool. What about you, Bob?
Pete, I think you made some of those people up. I don't buy it. I don't think those are real people. I think you're kind of messing with me. You're pulling my leg. You're yanking my chain.
Who's that? What is it made up?
I don't know. Most of my inspiration comes from just being a hobbit and being old. That's not true. I stole your answer. I'm sorry, man. I think, to me, what's funny, you have to think it's funny first. So I always think, well, what's funny? Not winning is to me is funny. Not winning in life, not getting that promotion, not getting the girl, not succeeding in this, succeeding in that, not making money, not having the cool car, the nice house, that kind of stuff. I like slipping on banana peels. That works best for me.
So you like the old slapstick kind of comedy then, with like stepping on banana peels, that kind of stuff?
I mean, I'm not, I don't have a guy named Mo hit me in the head with a hammer. It's
but I've done that too. Self-deprecating humor is brilliant. So it's just
especially up top. I mean, that's a general laugh. So, just for laughs, I auditioned for them in 2014 or 15 and didn't get another audition. But I think they disappeared, good old JFL. So that's the end of that.
Oh, okay. We've got one from Goji. For Bob, what's your best method of shutting down hecklers?
Oh, good question. There's a couple of ways. Some people like to go head on and trade insults and yada yada yada. I don't, because I feel what that does is that opens up. You don't want to open up the avenue towards let's have you versus everyone yelling out, and it ceases to be a comedy show, and especially consideration for the comedians after you. It's like, don't. Any idiot can burn down a barn. Takes a carpenter to build one. It's easy to make a mess. One thing I try to do I'm kind of a motor mouth, so there's really not a lot of room. I don't get heckled much. I think it's just because there's not a lot of openings. But but one thing I like to make sure, if I know that I'll let one or two things go, because if I overreact, I'm the bad guy. But if I can tell it's annoying everyone else also. If something's only annoying me in the front row, I shut up about it because it's only annoying me. Only I can see it. But if someone or something is annoying everyone, the most important thing I think you can do first, or at least this helps me, is what can I say to make sure that I've turned the audience against that individual? So the guy isn't yelling, or the lady isn't yelling at against me. Now they're yelling against me and the rest of the audience. So it's not me versus them. It's that one versus us. And if you could switch it to us, people do a lot of work for you, or you don't have to say as much or actually be as quick as other people are yelling at them to shut the hell up. So,
okay, cool. We've got another one for you, Bob. Also for Bob, do you find some people just go to a show to heckle? I mean, I am that person. I would be that person.
that sucks. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't be that person.
Some people, I think, yeah, they do, because I think in the last couple of years, the trend of everything being so based on Instagram Reels and try to get a reel viral, and so many of those stupid things are all crowd work, that now everybody wants to be part of what they think might be the viral reel, which 99.9% won't be.
Yeah.
But that's there you go.
Yeah.
So I think some people do, but a good comedy club or comedy staff kind of spots them out beforehand. You can't always predict them, but like anyone who's too eager to sit up front, almost every audience member, when you're seating people, I've been a door guy at a comedy club, the Comedy Store at La Jolla in San Diego that I mentioned. Anyone who's too eager to sit up front, that's a sign. That's a huge red flag. Anyone who you ask them to sit up front and are a little shy about it, they're going to be great. But yeah,
Right.
anyone's, I don't know, I want to sit up front. Can I sit as close as, like, that's going to be, there's a reason. They want attention.
They might just want to get a good view of you, Bob.
Nope, I don't think that's it.
I mean, I'm not being funny. If I went to go and see PGM, I'd have to go sit at the front. Otherwise, if I sat at the back, I wouldn't be able to see him because he's short, isn't he?
Well, there you
go.
Yeah.
There you are. So, you know.
So
we've got BOE in the house. Thank you very much, BOE. Nice you to join us. Sorry, what was that, mate?
Yeah, it's taking the piss.
No, I'm not.
Not as a comedian, yeah, that's just a heckler. Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
So BOE likes sit-down comedians. Good man.
Joke.
Well done. We've got treasures for get my teeth in. Treasure. Oh, for crying out loud. Phil. All right, Phil. Nice you to join us. Thank you very much. I couldn't get that out. Bloody hell. Who else we got? Everybody's saying hello to each other. Pete's Toys and Things. Hello. How are you? Nice you to join us. Thank you very much. What's this? Wait, Pete played a Hobbit. He sure kept that quiet. Yeah, he did. Bless him. So what's this? Who's sitting next to you, Bob? Sorry, not a comedy question. What? Heckling. Unbelievable.
Who's sitting next to me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my Mr. Odie. Odie, come here, my little friend. We have to do this once time. Mr. Odie has to say. Well, he doesn't want to say hello. Actually, he's a jerk. But this is what's been distracting me, and it will happen for every stream I do. Hello, little friend. My little man.
We've got Ricardo in the house. Hello, Ricardo. How are you? Nice you to join us. Thank you very much, sir. Hoping you're keeping well. What's this? Looks like Cobra Commander to me, Des. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, you got Cobra Commander there as well.
Oh, I thought you meant the dog. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a Cobra Commander helmet that serves no purpose.
Well, George, you probably did mean the dog. Yeah. So sorry, it's just all getting out of hand here. Tommy Cooper. Yeah, he's a classic there. Tommy Cooper. So Pete went to go for training and stuff like that. He had like lessons in how to be a stand-up comedian. Did you have to go through that, Bob, or no?
No, I didn't. I don't think it was an option. I've changed my stance. I used to be anti-comedy class, and I've kind of changed my stance on that. I think if there's depending on who it is and if there's a right way to do it, just because I've seen so many bad ones in this, more so in New York than San Diego. So many, kind of hucksters and whatnot. But now that I've seen, two friends do it in San Diego, and I've sat through many of their classes and watched and just like snuck in and did 5 or 6 at the end. Just they let me work on something. I've kind of like, okay, there is a way you can properly guide folks to do this. Ultimately, I think the ultimate teacher is the stage. There's just nothing around. Yeah. There's no way around it. But people can give you good advice to make you definitely the more competent or coherent of the new open mic people. I think. So
what advice were you given, Bob?
Was I given?
What advice were you given?
Honestly, most of my comedy advice accidentally came from an old pro wrestler when I was wrestling off of the Wild Samoan, who a lot of things about feeling things out when things go wrong and changing plans on the fly, but keeping your time and that kind of stuff, and just weird little crowd psychology things and being aware of how they see you and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it just came from wrestling more so. So, so I was used to the feeling of things going well or going terribly when I started stand up in March of 06. I started doing open mics. I want to say, good gravy. But yeah. So that was ultimately and rewatching yourself. One of the best teachers is video. We all have cameras in our pockets nowadays. It's painful. It's the most painful thing. But watching that video of yourself when you realize, hey, why do I stand like that? That's weird. Why was I standing out of the light the entire time? Hey, why was I way too close on the mic or way too far away, and I'm either way too muffled and loud or no one can hear me at all? That kind of, why is my hand in my pocket? Why am I playing with this piece of paper? Why am I kicking my feet? Why am I standing at a weird angle?
That's a lot of questions, Bob.
It's a lot, but you find out when you watch that video and go, what am I doing? Why? Look at the people. Look at the people in the eyeballs.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do. And I know it's something like totally different, but when I was having my, when I had singing lessons, every month we, the guys that were getting taught, we used to do a, what do you call it? Like a showpiece thing where you get everybody together and they used to get in a hall and you used to have the people sat in front of you and you used to have to sing. And for me, I found it really difficult to make eye contact with people while I was singing. I was like looking at the floor and stuff like that. So basically, I would
find it difficult to make eye contact with someone who is singing.
You would?
Yeah, I couldn't look at I would be more uncomfortable if someone who was singing was making eye contact with me. I can't even be in the room with another man singing.
Not necessarily making eye contact with like you put on a personal level, Bob, but just looking out to the audience. Is that kind of thing? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, you're not just like staring right at me and just like staring.
No,
right
I'm not
at
just staring at. I'm not just pointing at one person that I'm going to sing to. That's not how it works, Bob. No,
that's a shame.
It's just like as a general,
that's what I envisioned in my head.
No.
You guys want a room?
I envisioned a room of 50 people, and you're ignoring all of them and just singing to me.
No,
that's the way. Which I think it would at least, very least, would feel that way.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bob.
Very awkward. It's very awkward now. Yeah,
I feel very awkward. I feel very awkward now. But yeah, so that it is an uncomfortable feeling when you've got to look out to the audience. Okay, I look out to the audience is probably a better phrase of words that I should have used, Bob. So thank you very much for that.
Too late now. Yeah. Too late now.
I guess I should make this boring, serious point. Is that especially in most comedy clubs, I think audience members don't realize the way things are lit. Usually, you can't see too far past the front row anyway. Yeah, you wouldn't know it but anytime an audience member gets up on stage after a show to take a picture or some meet and greet or something, they always say the same thing every time they stand up. You'll hear it 90 times. They'll always stand and go, "Wow, it's bright up here. Wow, it's bright." They're totally.
It is, isn't it?
They're right, and I mean, yeah, if you're not used to it, or you just kind of but yeah, so people looking out into the. You have to just make sure you're looking at them. If the place seats 200, but only 100 are in there, don't look to the back of the room where nobody is. Like pretend you're talking to everyone individually. Like try to look into them, even if you can't. If you could only see their silhouettes, it really doesn't matter. Just treat it like you're talking to. If you got 100 people, treat it like you're talking to 5.
Yeah,
and vice versa.
I mean, every time I was on stage, I had to get the people in the front row to wear sunglasses because the light's bouncing off the top of my noggin. I mean, you can see it now. Look at it. It's like a really bright there. So
I used to shave my head bald for years and I stopped doing it because on video for every stand-up set I would put on YouTube, it would be I'm pale anyway, so I was so pale and bald, it was so glaring that the little bit of hair that I can still grow out, I just started growing out again. And I always throw like a bit of cold water on my face every time, right, like a minute before I go out, just to kind of get like the shininess off and all that kind of stuff. And it wakes me up. It's a weird superstition. I have to throw some water.
Yeah. The thing is, Bob, I can't do that because the hair doesn't grow here. It just grows around the sides. If I grew it long, I'd look like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I need to wear a cap or.
It's Stu's next challenge.
What's that?
Jim, to grow Mr. Burns here around there. Yeah.
The Don Mattingly episode,
So what we got here? It's your karate kicks, Bob. That make me think, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised you get your leg up that high, Bob, to be honest with you. I mean, crikey.
I've got, for those, I guess for everyone else who doesn't know what he's talking about, I have some karate kicks for no reason on the stage there.
Well, what I'll do is I'll leave the link to your YouTube channel in the description below.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Well, have a good
or
time.
if there's anybody in the house that wants to pop up Bob's link to his YouTube channel, that would be absolutely marvelous.
Well, maybe I can.
So we've got Mum in the house live. Have I missed the comedy in this live stream about stand-up comedy? Have I missed? No, you haven't. See, Mum is a Kowakian monkey lizard, and well, Pete's mate, really, and he's like Pete and Bob's love child. But there you go.
I didn't know that. Have I missed the comedy?
Never sits up front at comedy clubs or public executions. I mean, is it that bad sitting in the front? Sitting in the front row? No,
I think generally there'll be like certain comedians who have nothing to say. I guess I'm being a jerk, but yeah, they just love their crowd work. They want to ask every single person every question. Where do they work? How long have you been dating? Where do you work? How long have you been dating? Over and over and over. And the thing is, it gets exhausting because I call it the census. That's my nickname for it. When there's just no, okay, now you got everyone's information. What are you going to do with it? Nothing? Okay, cool. Well, that was boring. Maybe write some jokes. But that's just me being a grumpy old man as years have come by in my status too, in stand up. So that's one of those things. It's just kind of overdone because they're trying to get that Instagram reel, and meanwhile, what you're doing is there's 30 people in the crowd, and you just told 28 of them indirectly, just told 28 of those 30 or whatever it is that they kind of aren't part of the show right now. And that's when people start looking at their phones, which they're going to do more and more all the time anyway, and their watches and eat their food and order their drink and talk to each other and blah, blah. That's when people tune out. They go, oh, okay, this show is only for 5% of us right now. Well, the hell with it then. So that's why I try to never do that unless if I don't really need to know, I don't need to know.
Yeah. So, I mean, Pete, you've looked at your, I'm guessing you've looked at your video of your stand-up. Is there anything that you would change about it? Is there anything that you would do differently?
I would probably, I slurred a wee bit, I think.
Yeah.
I think in the middle part of that set, I gotta not slur that much. But I think I want to put in some. There was a great joke that I left out, and I want to put that in. So I overall I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I did actually my accent changed from a Kiwi to a British accent. I don't know where it came from. Came out.
How did that happen? What made you start talking in a British accent?
I don't know. I think it was just maybe talking about Lord of the Rings. That kind of accent.
What do you mean when you said slurred like words? Were you sloshed? Were you intoxicated? Or were you just?
No, I think I was a little bit too fast in one or 2 points, and then when I was doing the setup, I could hear myself when I was listening to it slurring the wording of the sentence or the sentence structure, right? I had a big habit years ago of slurring when I was doing dinner theatre years ago, because I'm an alcoholic, so I used to drink back then. So I slurred quite a lot, and my diction wasn't, very good. So I
it's that alcohol. It's murder on your timing when you go to a lot of people. Just because when they're so nervous for that first set that they do, a lot of folks will and overdo it, thinking it calms the nerves, and it doesn't. Because when you get up there, those nerves that you think you calmed, now those nerves are out of control. Like it doesn't really work. Or I'm in San Diego, so everybody they smoke the jazz cigarettes there, and they think it's going to calm themselves, but then you get up and you're extra freaked out. So it's just suck up those. I always just tell new folks, like, let the butterflies, just let them happen. You just got to endure the nerves all day. It's the only way.
A question for PGM: has PGM seen Milton Jones or Henning? Is it Henning Wayne?
Henning Wayne, yeah.
Making up people.
Not not the first, but I've seen Henning Wayne. He's German comic. He's been on
Okay.
lots of British TV shows like Eight Out of Cats does Countdown,
Yeah.
and a lot of Jimmy Carr stuff. So he's quite funny. You know, Would I Lie to You? He's been on countless times, and he's very funny. And the other comedians actually take the piss out of him because he's German. So these German jokes were all ready for him. So I can't really explain it. You'll have to
watch him. Yeah. So Johnny Sorensen says a lot of sitting down going on around here on this stand-up edition. Yes, very good. Very
That's
good.
3. I'm making a count on this joke.
Same. Yeah, I am too. Yeah.
Hi Pete, is that a pirate tricorn I see on your YouTube profile photo? Looks very cool, savvy.
Oh,
is that a pirate tricorn on your YouTube profile? Have you got the right?
No, that's Pete Boys and Tings. I think you're talking about.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought it might be you. Sorry. What's this? I still think Pete's best work to date is his super agent personality, Peter McStill. He is a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me. Well, there you are. There you are. What do you think? Are you going to be bringing Peter McStill out of retirement?
No, not by a long shot. No. This guy, he's retired. Retired.
Okay.
So it's just me trying to do stand up and having fun. So that's me. Yeah.
Hang on, did Stu actually pay money to his singing coach? Maybe it's not too late to get a no need for that. I can hold a tune. I could used to. Hi Martin, sorry if I missed you. Oh, okay, they're having a little conversation there. What's this? He might have used the friends and family option, Mum. Okay, aren't professional singers taught to sing to just one person to convey the emotion of the song? Well, no. I mean, if you've got an audience, you want to, look out to the audience and sing to the audience. You're not just. Like I said, that'd be a bit creepy, wouldn't it? If I just point one person. I mean, Bob's already sort of like said that.
On audience for one, like Bob, you were going to sing to Bob very privately. And,
no, I might do. I might do when we get to meet eventually. I might sing him a ditty. I might sing him a tune. Oh, okay. You're saying
they posted my thing as I was posting the same thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Yep. So here's Bob Hansen Jokes. Is his YouTube channel link there. So if you're not subscribed, give him a sub. He does a lot of play motion.
Yeah, there's some stand up on there, but there's also especially because this is a toy related channel and whatnot. There's a lot of toy videos up there. You're gonna playing around. You guys have Star Wars in the background to both of you gentlemen. It's a popular space fantasy franchise, the Star Wars.
Yeah. It's quite a big one, apparently.
Yes, it's very, very.
Yeah, I mean, and your knowledge is superb, Bob. It is. It's superb. But the thing is, it's like you say, this is predominantly a toy channel, and we all do collect toys and stuff like that. But I just think it's interesting to sort of branch out and chat about different things because you do stand up comedy. Bob PGM's just started to do stand up comedy, so it's interesting to find out a little bit more about people and other things they like other than toys.
Yeah, the toys for me are a nice getaway from stand up. Like there are nights. I'm sorry
for doing this live stream, Bob.
Like this week, for example, I had shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I could not wait for Friday when I had nowhere to go. And ideally, you really should want to be working Friday, Saturday, but I wasn't. And I'm like, I cannot wait Friday to just take out my Motu Origins and my Motu Grayskull and film a thing of Manny Faces and Triclops shooting each other, which I started last night and a little bit this morning. And I'm like, I cannot wait to do that. And and I love it. And then I'll be ready. I have a thing. I'm going to somebody's thing tomorrow just to help a friend film a 12-minute set somewhere, just to be nice. And I'll do 15 at some cafe tomorrow, something, and blah, blah, blah. Then a few days after that, we're going to Texas.
Well, awesome. Yeah. I mean, that is really cool. That is really cool.
Yeah.
So Kieran's put Dave Allen was a very famous sit-down stand-up comedian. Yeah, Dave Allen was awesome. Love Dave Allen.
You guys keep making up these comedians.
No, check out Dave Allen. Check out Dave Allen, especially when he's talking about his like a Catholic upbringing and stuff like that when he went to the monastery for the first time, and also when he's telling a kid how to tell the time with a dial watch and not a Casio watch and stuff like that. He's very funny, very funny.
I'm sure.
What's this? Chase, that's a photo of me on a set of Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, wow, very cool. Delvian, have you ever regretted telling a joke, one that went too far, or perhaps is there a too far? So, Bob, we'll ask that question to you, mate, because Pete's just started out, and I don't think he's offended anybody just yet.
I would say yes, but it hasn't been in, I would say, like the first couple of years, 06 to 2008 or 9, just because that's when I was in my mid to, I guess, then late 20s. And in that stage, especially when you're new and you're young, you just want to say dumb, shocking stuff to, and I can't even think of one specific example. Not that I was going to share it anyway, but I still can't, because as you're used to bars and open mics every week, it just you're trying to get a reaction. And when you're in your 20s, you don't have the life experience where goofing on bad stuff means as much, because not as much stuff has happened to you or your friends or family, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I would have to actually sit down and think about it. But it's been a while since I would never. You won't get me to watch anything that I haven't done more than a year ago. Like, I don't want to know. I mean, I do know what I was doing the last few years, but I don't want to watch anything for my first 5-8 years ever. I don't want to.
Wow.
I don't want to know.
Wow.
I don't want to know. Because you just watch yourself making all these dumb mistakes, and I'm sure in 2 years, if you asked me to watch a video from 2 years ago, I would go, no, don't show me that. Don't show me that. I want to see myself theoretically at my best. But I would say that, especially Pete, if you start doing open mics, which is the next logical step after a showcase kind of thing, you're going to see the open mic comedy culture. And again, I wouldn't know exactly what it's like across the pond, but I have a healthy guess that new comedians at open mics, what happens is you end up learning how to perform for comedians, and that's not really good, but you have to, because they book small local things, so you end up all kind of performing for each other. And then when there's like a real audience, like you sometimes there's a disconnect, and then you have to get booked enough times to work through the disconnect. So hey, it's one of those things. That's the catch-22 of it all. You learn to perform for just comedians, and by doing so, they book you on things in front of real people, and then you don't know how to perform for real people anymore, because comedians laugh at dumb things and meaner things and edgier things too. That's the other thing, because they're not going to be as surprised with or go along with you for regular material. They're bored. They've heard a lot too, even new ones. So that becomes the catch-22 of it. Just to be mindful of, am I making comedians laugh, or am I making people laugh? And I know I just classified us as not people, but oh well. There you go.
I mean, I find that interesting. So so Pete's, like I say, it's just starting out. He's got his material. So other than that one change, how long do you keep using that material until you then turn around and change it again? Because you've got a gig tomorrow, did you say, Pete?
Yeah. I've got I think it's called Raw Meat Mondays at Fringe Festival. And it's just a bunch of us doing 5 to 6 minutes on stage, and what was the question?
Oh bloody hell, I forgot, mate. Oh, Jesus Christ. What was the question?
Reusing material? Was that?
Oh yeah. How often do you? How often would you suggest changing your material?
Sorry, it just went off. Neil Thornton, who's a teacher, said that when you've got the material that's yours, right? You use it quite a lot. So, and you can. He said that you can add new stuff, but don't add too much to it, because you'll be using it for quite some time until I get good, right, at doing this kind of stand-up. So same with my stance. Like a lot of comedians tend to walk side to side because they're good at it, right? So he told us when you get good, you can actually move around a wee bit, right? But you're not good at the moment. You're just beginning. So stand still, eye contact, and do your jokes, right? And do what you've just written. So I don't mind that at all. I do get a chance to do this. There's another show coming up this week for me as well called 1 minute new stuff on the Fringe Festival on Friday, that we only do 1 minute of fresh new stuff or fresh new joke, right? And then if we go over that minute, we get razzed by the other comedians. So I'm looking forward to that.
Wow.
So I want to go over 1 minute so I get razzed by the other comedians. So I'm quite looking forward to that. But that's what I got taught anyway. Sorry, because I got and yeah, we got taught to not harass the audience, like you just said, Bob.
You don't need to.
Not make fun of the audience and be respectful, but you got
likability. You get away with anything.
Yeah,
they decide they like you. That's why the general rule of thumb is like self-effacing stuff generally goes first. So now that you've goofed on yourself, you made fun of yourself, that kind of gives a little subconscious doorway to now you can pick on whatever subject, topic, blah, 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 whatever other person in your life, whatever you're goofing on. Because you've already said, hey, I acknowledge that I'm XYZ and here's my imperfection. And it doesn't have to be something too obvious. It could just be like, hey, here's not like I'm a big dumb idiot, but like more like, yeah, here's a mistake I made. Here's some bad luck on my, or just something subtle, like, oh, okay, he's trying to be one of us, and we can relate to this person. We want to root for this person. So when you go after whoever, and then your boss or whatever, you make fun of your job, or your neighbors, whatever, then you could like, oh, okay, we see why. Now we see why.
And getting to your point, that I went to the end of the year Fringe Festival Comedy Club, right, and I heard the MC point out a French dude and a Canadian dude constantly, right? So it does actually turn, I think what you would mean, it does turn the majority of the audience off a wee bit, because they're just kind of reacting to these guys here, right? And talking to these guys for a bit and going, well, hang on, we've got other audience members over here too, right?
Yeah, that's what happens. And those people are very
my question is when you go to like a comedy show, and it doesn't matter who you go and see, if you're sitting in and around the front, or would you not expect to kind of be like targeted? Because do a lot of people go to these comedy shows to get targeted, to be part of the banter? Or
I think a lot of them have a realistic expectation that they'll be asked a question or two, and they kind of get it. And most people are generally shy, and that's why you want the people you want up front are the people who say they don't want to sit up front, because then it's like, oh, this will be fun. But then you don't want to abuse that either. You don't want to, you can give them. I never ask anyone a question. I like to look at them. I might make a comment on jokety joke, cool shirt, jokety joke. So it's like there's nothing for the guy to do. He's with his date or his girlfriend, his wife, whatever. There's nothing. There's not an insult. It's a compliment, and he looks good. Or some lady, I like your laugh. Blah 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 blah. Carry on. So it's like, so they're not being picked on at all. If anything, they get good God, they get random compliments, and then I move on. So it's almost a boost. Like, okay, and you mentioned someone else. You mentioned a karate kicks earlier. They'll get their own kick. Like they'll get, I like you. You got a good laugh. You get a karate kick. Boom, do the kick. And they go, oh, okay. He's like, he's on our side, or we have a reason to like him. Is what I go for. So I try to diffuse the weirdness.
Yeah, I guess this day and age, there's going to be a lot of weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, PGM, have you the right face to be like Jim Carrey while doing your stand-up too? Oh, you have the right face. So, TJC reckons you've got the right face to be like Jim Carrey and pull the faces. So that's a compliment, isn't it? Is that a compliment?
Yeah.
That was a compliment.
But I wouldn't say Jim Carrey-esque, because he's just phenomenal. But I had in my in my set, I did actually make a funny face or two. Yeah. You know, that's because I'm using this tool. You know, for
whatever you can do, use that blank canvas effect. Whatever you can use.
Yeah. I want to hear the joke PGM didn't do now. So, what do you reckon?
No,
he's not doing it. Not doing it.
No,
so Bob, with material, then, how often do you change up your material, or do you keep it relatively quite the same for a period of time?
I would say for this past year, for the past 6 months, I've had 20 to 22 minutes that I've just been pretty much doing that set. And I'll say for maybe a year and a half before it, I'd still be doing 20, 22-minute sets out there on the road or whatever. But only 5 or 6 minutes worth would be the same. So I'm not at the level yet where I'm not doing a new hour every year or anything like that. But I like to think there's a new solid 20 coming out every year, which is enough to be like, okay, you can feature for anyone. Because now it's getting to a point as time has passed where, the guy I opened for, it's like a lot of his audience members, especially in Southern California, they're starting to know me now, or they remember me from a year and a half prior. Maybe not right away, but when they hear the voice and they hear Bob, they see the kicks, the boots, et cetera, they go, I remember this guy. So if I'm doing 20, I want 17, 18 of that 20 to be different from that previous year. And right now it is, so I'm happy with that. I mean, he's going out on a road. He yearned to do 4 or 5 hours, depending on how many shows there are a week. He does an hour 5 times a week, roughly. So he can always work in the new stuff gradually. I would always say, often advise new people too, writing 5 minutes of jokes doesn't mean you have a new 5 minutes. Doesn't mean you have a new hard 5. If you wrote down 5 minutes of stuff to say, chances are you have a new 45 seconds or a new minute. As important as writing is, it's editing, it's cutting that fat. So you just like, whenever you here's a sign of a new person when they tell you they have, like, they've been doing it a couple of months and they say, they got this hour. No, they don't. They don't know what they're talking about. If they're new and they say they have this hour, I
don't even believe that, Bob, and I'm new.
No, exactly. I think you'll hear. It's just sidewalk chatter is all it is. I got my 45. I got my 46. They don't. That's usually a good sign. I was like, nah, that takes a good decade to get that first decade and change and a half.
That is mad. That is mad thinking about it, because I think standing up in front of someone for 5 minutes doing stand up, it is a long time. And for me, that would seem like an absolute eternity, but doing it for 20 minutes to half an hour, that takes some doing. I mean, how long do you do your comedy stand-ups for?
Oh, my opening? Oh, when I 20, and Zoltan, again, the guy I opened for, he's my buddy for a long time. We started together. So he lets me do like 20. He lets me go like 21, 22. He doesn't care if I really go over that much, to a degrry. So because he knows I'm wrapping.
Does it feel a long time? Does it feel a long time? 20 minutes when you're up there?
It can. I don't know if things are badly. It feels pretty long. Thankfully, I mean, his audience is easy, and not easy, but they're happy, they're pleasant. So things actually go pretty fast. Usually around like minute 17, I'm like, oh, I got 3 minutes. I got 3 minutes to do 6 minutes worth of stuff. Yeah. So that doesn't mean talk fast and cram it in. Don't ever do that. It's a temptation, but don't ever do that. Just pick and choose real fast. How are you finishing this? When things are going well, they take longer. When things are going badly, you burn through material quicker because you're just shooting after them, joke after joke after joke. You're trying to get them on your side, and then you realize I'm usually at minute 6 around this joke, and I'm actually at minute 4, and like, that's not a good sign for the remainder of this 20-minute set. Because you start doing math in your head. A lot of clubs nowadays, instead of just giving you the light, which means you have 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever minutes you agree upon, because it's usually somebody's cell phone, or there's sometimes clubs, the old red light bulb. But nowadays, a lot of clubs have literally a clock, which I love. I feel spoiled. There'll just be a club counting down or up or whatever, usually just up from 0. When around the time you say hi, it'll be at your feet or just in the back, and hopefully only you can see it, where you'll just see like, oh, okay. And I love that. because I could
Yeah.
make some choices as I go. Like, oh, do I want to do this thing? I'm at minute 14 of the 20. What real quick in my brain? What did I want to get in before I start wrapping it up? Oh, that thing. You wrote that new thing. Okay, go put that new minute in, and then start wrapping it up, and then I'll be okay. So I love that we're seeing more clocks and less lights. Lights are subject to human error, like people forgetting to light you.
Oh,
It's
it
that's
sounds complicated. I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
I
people
complicated it.
were saying the other week that anybody could get up and be a stand-up comedian. I mean, would you buy into that? Because I don't know.
I have some very funny friends who are hilarious in their kitchen, and they're wonderful ball busters. But for them to make something, it's one thing to walk into a party and be hilarious and make fun of everyone and yada 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 and steal the show. And I'm not great at that. And I've had many friends over the years who were so brilliant at that. They would be terrible at stand-up comedy because there's structure, there's a plan, making fun of your friends is great. You've known them forever. You don't know those people in the audience.
No,
they don't know you, and they don't know how you mean it. Like it's just, it's not the same.
The things as well. It's like, so if I get up on stage and I'm in a play or a musical and I play like a what do you call it, a character part, which is like the goofy sidekick, I can do that. That's not an issue because that's written that way. I've not had to do that, and you're working with other people, so it's all about the time and it's about your reactions and stuff like that. So I can do that and I can deliver those lines and be funny in that way. But I don't think that I could get up and do what you guys are doing or what you do, Bob, and what you're setting out to do, PJ. I just don't think I can do it.
I guess I could probably answer that question a little bit. I mean, answer that question or what I said, that I think that comes down to the teacher.
Yeah.
It's like a teacher puts an advert, right, saying if you think you're funny, right, join the comedy club, right, come and see what you can do, right. So, and half of that class goes in for a free class, right, and then there's about 10 to 15 people sitting in that class for a free class, and then half of that class goes because one, I can't afford it, right, or two, that no, this is no good for them because it's not right for them. But the other half, or the 5 that are still there sitting in the seats going, oh yeah, I think I can do this, then that's, maybe I'm probably retracting my words here, but maybe that's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
That's it's wanting to be a comedian, or just wanting to be funny with your mates. Yeah, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
So
I know we've had the
call that a retraction.
Attraction. That's not an issue, mate. That's not an issue. No worries. So we got. Has Bob had to deal with hecklers, Mr. B? So I don't think he was here at the beginning of the chat. So
I don't get. Like I said, I'm kind of motor mouthy. I don't get heckled. Really, this is not a brag. There's just a reason I don't get heckled like really ever, or I don't leave a lot of room for interruption. And I think and I'm a different guy on stage than just chilling with you guys on a stream. So I think there's kind of an intensity or an energy, which I'm not going to have at 3:00 in the afternoon, but that it's like, why would I heckle this guy? I try to make enough spectacle up top where the brain, the audiences their brain should be asking questions before they really want to interrupt. I try to use the best defense as a good offense method, I guess is the best way. But I mean, it happens. But again, if you keep that likability up top, do that self-effacing and just find little subtle ways to let them know that you actually are aiming to entertain them. You kind of kill off a lot of that, a lot of their desire to heckle you. If you get that likability up top, I don't want to heckle this guy. I like this guy. Interrupting and heckling are not really the same. People interrupt sometimes thinking they're helping, or they're just having a good time. I get interrupted more. I almost never get heckled. I'll get interrupted. Like, I have a question. Like, because if you keep it conversational enough, they'll start to think it's a conversation. It's not really a conversation. But like, oh, let me ask. Oh, you mentioned I can't say Cole. Walmart. You guys have heard of Walmart. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I had a thing about Walmart. Well, we don't need to hear your thing about Walmart lady in the fourth row, but they start to forget. Or I mentioned
it's
my
not
dog.
about you. I'm the comedian. You shush. That's
Right, but you want to. But if you have to use judgment, if you feel that their interruption, even though it's frustrating, if they didn't mean it to be rude, you can't really attack them, because then I'm the jerk. Then this actually is my fault. So I have to find a way to quickly assess what was their real intention. Because if I overreact to, or even something like the bartender is shaking the ice shaker a little too, or at a moment where things get quiet and you just kind of hear that, which drives comedians nuts. Why? We always think bartenders do it more loudly at comedy shows than any other venue that serves alcohol in the freaking world. We don't know why, but it just sounds like that when you're up there. And but if no one else is, I have to remember, no one else is annoyed by it. If it's probably just you with the microphone that's annoyed by it, you have to kind of let that go, or block it out, or whatever method is, or make a joke about it, which doesn't make the bartender or the venue look bad. Especially when alcohol is their money. You don't want to ever make fun of or shoot down the idea of alcohol. That's the last thing you want to do. Is I roll my eyes whenever a comedian goes up and says, "Oh, we talk about being sober for 30 years and how, like, just shut up. Congratulations, by the way, but also shut up. They're trying to make money off of us, right? And we all get to make money together if you just talk about something else."
There's so much to think about. It's mad. So we got another question from Chris Meanwhile. Question: as a musician, I sometimes forget the lyrics, but the show must go on, so you improvise and keep going. Do or did you guys ever have a blackout on stage you had to deal with? Oh, good question.
I love Chris. Like 2 nights ago, I was up there, and I was just doing an 8-minute set. Listen, I can fill 8 minutes of material in my sleep, but I had specific things I wanted to work on, and I had that moment and right in the middle of, but what the hell was it again? I can't remember for the life of me. I knew what the joke is, but how does it start? What's the first line? And too much silence went by after, and I just kind of went, oh, damn it, old joke. Here you go. All the time. Just maybe just don't tell them. Just don't let them know.
Yeah,
they don't need to know. When you're screwing up.
Yeah, I mean, Neil said to me, the teacher said to me the same thing to all of us, right? I mean, when you come off stage, don't say anything. Just keep it in your head. Keep it to yourself. The
audience doesn't see your notebook. The audience does not see your set list on what the audience says. This is, I learned more from wrestling. The audience does not know what you were supposed to do. They don't know your plan. They weren't in the locker room with you when the wrestlers were planning the match. They don't know that you were supposed to do a body slam instead of a suplex. They don't know you were supposed to make a joke about, in your head, you wanted to make a joke about dogs instead of cats. They have no idea what your intention actually was. So stop telling them you screwed up. They don't need to know.
And the other comedians, if they're, if you're doing, they don't want to hear it either. Right.
Yeah. So Zombie Hunter says it's easy to make friends laugh, but strangers are a whole different story. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, would you go with that? Yeah.
100%.
Believe you me, when I got up there the first stage, and this is when first, I did the first that I was freaking out because I'm going to go blank on my first set, right, ever on stage when I graduated, right, because that was my freak out, right? And then, it's just like, like you said, Bob, just make the nerves work for you, or the butterflies work for you. So, I did really, because the first line, I thought, oh shit, what if I forget my first line? I'm going, if I know my first line, I can do all of it, or most of it, and I did. So it was,
And the things as well, there's so many different styles of comedy as well, isn't there? You got your dry sense of humor, you've got your kind of like dark sense of humor, you've got your sarcastic sense of humor. I mean, do you try and obviously not the dark kind of side of things for the sense of humor, but do you try and fit in different styles of sense of humor into your your sketch?
I'm very careful, or I worry about changing the flavor of the ice cream too many times. Like if you're munching on a chocolate ice cream and it's great, and out of nowhere there's pistachio, just one chunk of it, you're like, what is this? Yeah. So if I'm like, PG-13ish and just slip on a banana peel and wiener and balls and being goofy and and then out of nowhere here's some dark edgy thing about trying to I'm gonna bum everybody out, but like the new open mic guy who thinks he's going to be edgy by making some like Holocaust joke or some like heavy dark issue. If I were to do that after talking about Walmart for 3 minutes and jump right into World War II, what the hell am I doing? Like that the audience does this. What if you were watching Marvel, you were watching Iron Man and Captain America fly around on a screen, and then out of nowhere it's I don't know, Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson playing a different character, crying about their marriage. You'd be like, well, what the hell? What am I watching? What was this? I don't understand. If Adam West and Burt Ward are powing and zapping people, and then they turn around and ask Superman why he said the name Martha, you go, well, this doesn't go with itself. It doesn't match itself. So if I'm going to change gears, like I try not to stop on a dime. Like if we're going to go into not even styles, but like a lot of short jokes, if I need to do a longer story, maybe we make sure jokes are peppered in with that story. So it still sounds like the Bob that they've gotten to know for 10 or 12 minutes. Because if I become a completely different guy out of nowhere, everyone's going to be confused. And then they tune out. And then they look at their phones again. And
okay.
Yeah, I kind of did that on my first set. I mean, I told you that the Grey Power, right? And then because I was learning how to write a joke with Neil, because he did one sessions on Zoom, right? And how to write a joke and set up and stuff like that and tag. He says, why don't you add that Grey Power back, right? So it kind of almost mirrors it almost, or like a bookend kind of thing. So you incorporate the first joke and then incorporate something within that joke that's it's the same. Like and I think I said "damn you, Grey Power" once. So
called back.
Yeah, so a callback this one. Yeah, sorry.
Called them bad boys back if you gotta.
Yeah.
So would either of you two consider, because I know you do it stand up and stuff like that, and it's all very like you're on your own, but would you ever consider like teaming up with someone and become part of a comedy duo, or is it not your thing, not your style?
Not right now. I've done stuff on stage, non-conventional stand-up stuff on stage with a handful of people, with weird little like game shows or roasts. That's the whole craze and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, I'll do that stuff when invited for fun. Just to get out of the wheelhouse and get out of the comfort zone.
No, I don't mean like in a roast, because I know you have the roast.
You have like a partner.
I mean, just as a partner, yeah.
I'm not really looking to do it. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, okay. I'll take back that email, then I'll delete that email I sent.
You might want to get rid of that, because what club is going to go, oh, there's two of you, we'll pay you double then. No club in the world is going to do that.
No,
that ain't happening. Where's that money going? So it's like, okay, can we split our thing? And then that adds the element of two. We can't pivot and change gears and work if we need to, because now there's two of us and the timings and the thought process is all different and stuff. So yeah, if I know, especially if for features or openers or whatever, non-headliners for that $50 a set for a great weekend for in my position, or $100 a set out on the road, I want to turn that 100 into 50 now. If I were to bring at this stage of the game, and so if I was headlining, I want to turn that I don't know. I want to turn that $3,000 into 1,500 and just break even on travel, hotel, rental car. I got way too deep into this. Sorry, but yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
This is fair enough. No, this is fair enough. What about you, PGM? I mean,
No,
I ruined it for you, did I?
no. Yeah, well, Bob just answered the question, really.
Well, that's Bob's answering the question. I
haven't got that far yet. But I wouldn't have a partner. No, not while I'm starting. So, I think I need to do the hard yards and have fun.
Yeah.
I'm not that experienced yet, so I can't. I'll answer the question. No, I wouldn't have a partner, but I just need the experience and.
Like a one-off might be fun, but that's a different animal too. It's just like, we'll prepare for this one silly thing we do, whoever, especially if it's local and you're not traveling, you're not spending money, like, to get out of the wheelhouse, sure. But nah.
Hang on.
We do this because we need attention and we can't play instruments.
Pete and Mum are a dynamic duo. There you are. See, there you go.
Yeah, well, that's a different kind of fish, isn't it? A kettle fish.
It is. That's a totally different fish. So, I mean, how different for you, Bob, is it to stand up in front of someone and do your stand-up comedy to then come and do something like this where, again, you're the kind of like we have an audience and stuff like that, but
this is hard because I want to be like helpful and informative, but also like there's like I'm trying not to, and I hope this doesn't disappoint anyone, but it's very hard to not make a joke here, or there's always pressure on these things to be funny. But if we're talking about comedy, I don't want to just bombard you with jokes because that's going to sound cheesy and lame over the live stream. I'd rather just answer a question for those curious as best as I can. But if we do a live stream, for example, on toys or my Star Wars trivia expertise, if you know, like that's usually when I'll throw pretty much all jokes at you and feel somewhat guilty if you're talking to Pete or Goji-chan or Chris or Mart or whoever, or Grindhead Jim, one of those guys. Like then I'm tempted to just bombard you with a bunch of jokes because that's hilarious to just throw you off your game and whatnot. But this is hard, and also it's like it's for me it's the middle of the daytime, and I'm not funny when the sun's up, and I think a lot of us are, and people. That's why most comedy is comedians, performers of pretty much every kind work when everyone else doesn't for a reason. If you've ever worked in a bar or restaurant, you have a different relationship with your coworkers than those you worked with in an office, because when the sun goes down, people are just a little different. There's a little bit of that veil that comes down. So if I've been a door guy, a bouncer, whatever, security at my younger days, my younger, bigger, more muscly and rambunctious days, and your relationship with your bartender and waitress coworkers is not the same as it is with the guy in the cubicle or the lady in the office next to you. You just don't talk to each other the same way. And people are the same way when they go out. They let loose. It's the drinks, but it's not always just the drinks. It's the atmosphere. Yeah. And your job is to loosen them up a little bit. We loosen you up. An opening comedian loosens you up without putting booze in your throat. That's someone else's job in a venue. Your job is to kind of get them to, when you look at that front row, I'm going to trail off, sorry for a little bit. When you look at that front row when you're opening like a hot weekend, and that front row has these arms crossed, and look at their tables. If there's no drink on their tables, that's the first thing I do when I see any of this. I look right. I want to know what's on their tables. If it's nothing, or their phone, but no drink, I kind of go, okay. Think about what you're really doing now. You have to do a little bit of. We have to lube up these people and get them primed here. Well, we have to ease them in and maybe don't go as bananas. I do up top with the energy. They're a little like they're still a little bit. What is this? The guard is up. You can see the body language. You can see that empty table. And they are aggravated. They just, especially Friday early. That's the easiest one to see. It is most obvious. Most people, population, they work their weekdays 9 to 5. So that Friday early show, 7:30 p.m., whatever it is, they're still carrying that tension from the work week with them. So their mood is different from Saturday at the exact same time. Saturday 7:30, 7, 8, whatever it is, something around there. It's completely different. At
But
least
then
I
why
think.
why go to a comedy club and sit there like that, all defensive and stuff like that? If you,
Well,
I don't.
they've just sat down. They traveled. They probably had to fight for parking. They probably rushed from work. They had some goofy argument on the car ride there. They're there to have a good time, and they will. But part of your job, especially as the opener, is to let me just crack you and get you into the place where I want you to be. So if I'm doing 20, I have to keep in mind, be patient for that first 2 or 3 minutes. If my opening joke gets half what it usually does, I have to remind myself, don't get mad, don't get frustrated. They're frazzled. They need a second. They're going to be okay. They don't necessarily hate you. They're going to love you. Just stick in there for a few
God, I'll
minutes.
be absolutely shocking as a comedian then, because I've got no patience. You know what I mean?
I don't either, but I fake it.
Well,
Fake it.
yeah.
Sincerity is
I
everything.
don't want to go there, but yeah.
Sincerity is the most important thing. And if you could fake that, you got it made.
Wow, God, Jesus. Right, I like to try stand up. That the thing is, my comedy is more visual and silent. For example, one gag I wrote goes like this, which I thought was quite good.
Oh boy.
Okay. Have I missed something there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think everybody's missed something here.
Oh dear. Oh. Yeah.
The thing about stand-up, Stu, is that because we don't, I make light of it, but like I think because we don't have an instrument, because we don't come with equipment, we're just like essentially like people talking into a microphone. I think that leads into the idea of folks going, well, anyone can do that. I'm funny. I can say stuff into a microphone. Well, yes, anyone can stand with a microphone and say stuff into it generally. But just because we don't show up with, well, here's the drum kit and then here's the speakers and here's the this, people go, oh, okay, well, I guess anyone can do that, because there's.
Hang on a minute. Sorry, I'm just going to read
go
this
ahead.
again.
I had no ending to that anyway.
I'd like to try stand up. The thing is, my comedy is more visual and silent. For example, one gag I wrote goes like this, which I thought was very, very good. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, Bob. Really, to that, right? Maybe it was a little bit presumptuous when I said something earlier on another stream. But you're right. It's when I got taught. I mean, I'm no expert, but when I got taught is I think that's because you're writing jokes, right? You're writing something out of your life and stuff like that. So, and some people might. I found it really hard to write a joke, right? So maybe you're right. Not everyone can actually do a stand-up comedian, set, right? Because it's the jokes that you have to write, or it's the setup you have to write, and the tags that you have to write, which I found really cool. But it's I think how you either say it and how you write it. It's it goes hand in hand, isn't it? So not everyone can actually do that. They can be funny, yes, and have a joke with their mates, fine, but it's a different animal together, isn't it?
Yeah, no, totally. It's the paper doesn't always transfer. I type everything first once and almost never again. And a joke after 5 times, like, oh, I'm going to try this joke. I got 3 or 4 chances to do this joke this week. And by the time if it's where I want it to be, if I decide I'm keeping it, don't always, a lot of them I don't. If I decide I'm keeping it, I guarantee you the finished version does not look like what I wrote 2 weeks prior. Everything's, the order is going to be the order of every individual joke in the bit is going to be completely backwards from where, and there's going to be weird little add-ons, or usually if I blurt something out, I always say it falls out of your face. If something goofy just falls out of my face in the middle of it, that gets a laugh. I watch that on a video. I go, oh, all right, that goes in now. And this part that I loved, that I just thought was the best part, that's garbage. Or I really like it, but just no one else does. Or me and 2 comedians like it, which is never a good sign. But no one else does. So yeah, it shouldn't. I like to know, like after 5 times, I'm like, okay, how does this joke actually go? If you're going to do it, what is and it's always shorter. It's always that new brilliant 2-minute thing is always going to be 45 minutes, 45 seconds. Jesus, 45 seconds by the end of it, when I'm like, okay, that goes in the act, and that goes towards the 20-something minutes this year or whatever it is.
Yeah, and that's what I learned. You know what works, what doesn't. Right. So what to throw out and what to keep, what's funny and what's not funny. You know, with the audience. That's the amazing part. When I got up there just for the first time, I was going, "This is great. People are laughing." Right, and then you say another joke, and not such a great reaction, but it's there. But it's
no, it's all trial and error.
As Kieran says, it's all in the delivery, all in the delivery. I mean, and that's what impressed me with you, Pete. I mean, you did deliver, and you the facial expressions and the delivery was there from what we could see the other week. So. I mean, would you go along with that, Bob? It's all in how you deliver it and how you present yourself, and part of it. Yeah,
no, delivery is everything. They need to hear your tone. Sometimes you'll see, like, when I say newer comedians, let's say like 2-3 years in, they'll get frustrated because they'll go, I didn't get a laugh on this main joke, this one bit that I do. It always kills. It always does. It doesn't always kill, probably, but it's like it always does great. Yada yada. And today it got nothing, and I don't know what's wrong with these people. It's always the audience. They always blame the audience. I can guarantee you, dollars to donuts, this is what the problem is. You've told it 100 times, and you just told it as if you've told it 100 times, and that was the issue right there. Tell it like you're telling it for the first time, and if you're doing a new thing, tell it like you're telling it, like you've been telling it, even though you're telling it for the first time. Go the opposite. So you have this tried and true opener, closer, whatever. And it's not always easy. I'm not saying I succeed in this 100% of the time by any means, but no, tell that like this is the first time. Because I've got a weekend ahead of me next weekend where 4 times I'm going to say some stuff that I've said a lot of times, and I have to make sure I say it. These people don't know me at all, thankfully, in Dallas. They're not there to see me. They know nothing about me, which is great. Clean slate. I just get to go regurgitate all the best stuff. I get to look good, and then I get to shut up right when I want to and bring up the main guy. I go, all right. And I look great. I probably will look great because I just get to, here's just 20 minutes of my best and blah, blah. But yes, that new stuff, it's hard. I don't always succeed on that either, but try to deliver that new thing like you know what you're talking about. Whenever you say, hey, audience, I'm going to try this new thing on you, it's over. They don't like to feel like guinea pigs, and nobody like even when they are, they don't tell them that.
No, true.
Well, yeah, they didn't like it. I slipped.
So, Bob, how long did it take you to feel confident in what you were doing and to feel comfortable in what you were doing? I mean, was it a long process? Did it take a while, or was it quite quick for you?
I'd say still never even 100% there. Like, I think a lot of us, we all have that imposter syndrome. Like, why am I here? Like, some guy babbling into a microphone. I think it comes back to the no instruments issue. It's like you just go, wait, I'm also some guy babbling into a microphone. Why are these people here to listen to me do this? It always baffles me. And I think every year it confuses me more and more that anyone goes to see live anything anymore with their streaming services. And I think that's why I get frustrated with newer comedians when they go, I'm going to goof on these people and upset them. I'm like, don't you? I'd prefer you didn't, because every year they got more excuses to stay inside. It's amazing they're here, and almost all of us comedians, we wouldn't be outside the house or the apartment right now either if this didn't exist. We'd be home too. I just told you I couldn't wait all week to be inside and play with my Motu Origins figures. That's where we would be.
Yeah,
watching some movie or playing with toys, whatever we're doing. So be thankful that they're there. So I don't know if I feel that. There are situations where I know I'm a lot more comfortable than others, where I'm like, this is going to be okay. This is set up. I get maybe more antsy or worried about the louder, smaller, insignificant shows, the bar shows where it's, just a couple of people in there rowdy and you kind of have to keep their attention or whatever, because those are really hard. Like 200, 300 happy people all facing towards you who came there to see stand-up. I mean, after a while, after so many years, it's actually not that hard. Just they're on your side. They're cheering for you. They're facing one way, you're facing the other. They're sitting, you're standing. You got a mic and lights. They don't. They know what to do. They bought tickets already. They're buying a 2-drink minimum. They know why. They know the dance. When you're just ambushing people and trying to keep their attention with your jokes and they have no idea who you are and probably resent you for interrupting their conversation or whatever sports game had to be turned off the TV. That's way harder. It's way harder to go up there in front of 5 drunk people in a bar or 10, 12 rowdy people and keep them on your side. It's comedy hot potato, I always call it, because you're just, or hacky sack, whatever, you're just keeping it in the air. Like, okay, great, did 10, 12, made them happy enough. Next person, let me get the hell off the stage, and someone else's problem now.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
not about
you. Sorry.
I just want to go out and have fun on Monday. That's do my 6-minute set and just have fun, because that's I make and try and make people laugh. That's where I'm headed. You're actually absolutely right, Bob. That I'm for this year coming. It's just go out there and just have fun, mate.
You're in the fun years.
Yeah.
The fun years started.
Yeah.
So you said you got 6 minutes. So you're going from 5 minutes to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
How are you going to? I mean, have you got material to fill that extra minute? I mean, I know it sounds a really silly question, but I have.
Yeah, I have. I've got that. I've got that. The last set and punchline of a joke of that storyline to be finished, and that'll be my extra 6 minutes, because I think I went over 5 minutes on my set, and then because the light went. So, and then I said, look, that's cool. I said thank you and walked off, because it's like I think Neil said that if you think you're finished, leave the audience wanting more. So, and that's what I did. So when the 6 minutes comes on Monday night, tomorrow night, I'll have that extra minute that I can play with. Right, because I've got it written anyway. So, and that's
cool.
I'll just do that extra minute. I should be 6 minutes. So yeah,
awesome. Good stuff. Right, so we've come to about an hour and a half. So we're pretty much towards the end of the live stream. Bob, just want to say thank you very much for taking part, mate. What have you got coming up?
Buddy.
Nice to meet you, Bob.
Oh, you too, Pete. No, it was good chatting it up. If you're in San Diego, every Wednesday in San Diego in the Ocean Beach area at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can see on my media, we got the Lazy River Comedy Show at the Long Story Irish Pub. I don't know if anyone in San Diego or Southern California is in this thing at all, but you never know. But I'm on the Instagram at Bob Hansen Jokes, where you see all my stuff. Other than we got Dallas next week, like I mentioned. I think we're
that's
up in the
cool.
Northwest.
Are you going to record that? Is that going to get recorded?
I will, yeah. No, I'm bringing my camera, and I'll maybe do some clips or whatever.
Yeah, please do, because
you'll see something from it. It's at this Hyenas Comedy Club franchise. Anyone in Pacific Northwest, I'll be in Oregon in the middle of February, and Grand Rapids, Michigan, and sometime in March. But I'm around San Diego a whole bunch out here in Southern California.
Awesome stuff. And what about you, PGM? I know you got your gig tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Have you got anything planned after that?
That 1 minute new stuff on I forgot what bloody day it is in my world. But it's Friday next week. So yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction. I want to make a prediction. You're going to have more fun on that 1 minute new thing than the Monday Night 6.
Probably, yeah.
You are, because it's going to be so loose and goofy, and you're going to end up with some new stuff just from that minute. That sounds crazy, but I have a funny feeling that's the way these things tend to go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually just getting razzed, because when they say that if you go over the minute, you get razzed by all the other comedians. But no, and then I'll just continue on doing Fringe Festival open mics, and here.
I mean, because Georgie said that you'd be great at the Edinburgh Fringe.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's my ultimate goal, Bob and Stu, is that to do this for a number of years, of course, and get but just go and travel. I wanted to go and travel and do different areas of the world, open mics and stuff like that.
No, that'd be cool, man.
So
Cool. That'd be cool.
love to do that. Just love to do that. Yeah. So Edinburgh or UK or America, right? Even Canada.
Ooh. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Well, I just want to say a huge thank you to the pair of you. As Kieran said, fascinating live stream. Well, I'll take that. Thank you very much, man. That's really appreciate that. So thank you. Just to say thank you to the guys. Compliments Stu for this great topic, and stand up applause for Pete and Bob. Yeah, I mean, great job. I mean, to be honest with you, like I say, it takes some kahunas to get up and do what you guys are doing.
I'm sorry I wasn't like funny for anyone who came in for just jokes. Like, I wasn't gonna. They wouldn't have translated well in live stream anyway if I just started like being, So I just tried to. If you're curious, I just hope I could, answer at least my own experiences.
To be fair, guys, this is the most serious I think I've ever seen Bob. So, so it's kind of thrown me a little bit, but yeah. Plus, I stole all his intro stuff anyway. Great chat, everyone. Very interesting. Something a bit different. Looking forward for the start of Stu and Georgie Star Wars Christmas. Yes. So tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK time, the Sunday night Star Wars trivia quiz will return. Looking forward to that. We've got our 4 guests eagerly waiting to try and get through to the next round. So that'll be cool. That's tomorrow. But
did you know that Return of the Jedi was originally titled Star Wars: It Takes a Village?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Thank you. So here he goes. He's off now. Knowledge.
Stu's got lots of questions on the Acolyte, I hear, guys. So you'll be.
No, I haven't. Don't put them off. Really cool live stream. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Appreciate that. What's this? Good luck to Pete and Bob on their next comedy shows. Yeah, absolutely. What's this? Oh, thank you, my love. Thank you. I'll give you a big hug after this is finished. Thank you very much. So Bob's there saying thank you. Nice one. What's this? Yes, funnier next time, please, Bob. Joking. There you go. What's this? I was surprised to see the word fascinating for a Stu live stream. Yes, yeah. I was surprised you used the word, to be honest with you, but I'll take it. Thank you very much. Thank you. And yeah, see you, everyone. Cheers, Zombie. Once again, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, everybody in the chat. See you tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK time for the Sunday night Star Wars Trivia Quiz Live. Until then, tutty buys. Or bye.